In today's episode, I'm going to be giving you an update on the short film which I'm making and where we're at in pre-production. Hello, my name is Simon Cade and this is DSLR Guide. So I'm basically just going to go through the kind of things we're doing in order to prepare for our short film in terms of writing, the music, and preparation in terms of logistics like locations and actors and stuff. So the first thing and the most important part of your film is the script, the storyline. Now for me this is one of the toughest parts, but you know, you have to get it done, and I'm really working hard to get a good script for this film. So to start with, we basically came up with the idea through just random, it just kind of came to us. And then I would talk through with one of my friends who's kind of co-writing it, and we would basically just bounce ideas off each other and we came up with a bullet point list of what we want to happen in the film. So it's very brief, it just says this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens, and just trying to get that as solid as possible, so that we can then pad out each scene to have a greater description before turning it into the script. So generally what I would do is, once we've kind of talked through the ideas and said what if this could happen to our characters, then you write down your bullet points, and then you kind of make sure everything links up. And this is a stage where if you haven't got the whole story done, you can kind of go ahead in getting some scenes that you're really sure about. You can start to go into detail about those, even if you're not exactly sure how it's going to end. But it's good to have the bullet point stage where you can get an idea of what you're doing. And then in terms of padding out each scene, you basically just want to kind of visualize how you want the scene to come across, and imagining it in your head, if you were to be watching the film, what it would look like, and this can give you a good idea of what you're looking for. And then when it comes to actually writing the script, this is something that I haven't really done before, so I used Celtex, or Celtex, which is a free piece of software that lets you basically write scripts. It has the general formatting for scripts, and it makes it very easy to kind of add characters and locations quickly. And for this, I was just, again, imagining each scene, playing it through in my head, what the character's doing, what do they feel like, what's trying to happen at the end of the scene, what we're trying to accomplish, what we're trying to show the viewers, and kind of going from that, and then trying to think of words, in the speech, trying to choose words that would fit just general conversation, and this is quite tricky. The other thing that I found very helpful was I would basically Google how to start a scene, how to end a story, how to introduce characters, things like that. If you just Google questions like that kind of generic to writing, then I found some really good posts, which I'll put in the description, about writing in general, and because there's quite a lot of stuff out there about helping you with writing, and that was really good. The other thing that I find really helpful is we would all along be kind of playing devil's advocate, asking those tough questions of why would they want to do that, if they kind of the questions that will you have to kind of imagine the plot holes basically. So if something's going to happen, you have to make sure that that's the only reason. You don't want your whole film to be based off some giant adventure they go on, and then someone just says, well, they didn't have to go on that adventure, why didn't they just do X, Y, Z? So you want to make sure that everything is kind of everything fits together as much as you can. And so what we would do is any tough questions like that, of like behind the motives of the characters or why things happen, we just wrote them down, and then we could kind of answer them as we go or adapt the storyline so that they would fit. And that was something that was really helpful to do. Okay, so the next thing we did, although it was kind of at the same time, was we did some location scouting. So we decided to shoot the film right here locally, just because it's easier, and I'd got an idea from just kind of knowing my way around here, roughly where I wanted to some of the scenes to happen. So I have a street in mind, which I think would be good, and we shouldn't have any problems filming there. And then we also have people's houses, because quite a few of the scenes take place in an ordinary house. So for that, again, we can just ask members of the cast if we can use their houses, since we're all friends. I'm not employing anyone. It's all quite low key. But then the other location we wanted was a storage place. Now this was going to be quite a key. This is quite a key scene in the film. This is one of the biggest locations, and so basically we went down to a storage place, a kind of place where you can go and put any of your items in storage if you've got too much stuff in your shed, or if you are moving house. And we just took a look round, and then ended up talking to the guy who was at the desk, just asking if we could basically shoot there. And they were really nice, and he talked to the manager, and they were just like, yeah, sure. They were very relaxed, and they said that it's actually not, they don't get very many people there during an average day, because of course people don't visit their storage every single day, so it's pretty much empty most of the time. And between, I think it's 8 and 5, it's all locked, but there's no one manning it. So basically they gave us full usage of it pretty much whenever we want. So I got their contact details, and I'm going to send them an email close to the time, just to kind of let them know when we're going to be in. And so that was, that just shows how by just being friendly and just asking, you can actually get some locations. And they didn't even, they didn't ask us to pay for anything. They were just very chilled out and cool about it. So I had brought my camera, so I straight away was walking around just kind of filming the general location. The other thing that's really important is lighting. So I saw they were using fluorescent lighting, but I noticed that they weren't, just by using my camera, I noticed that there was no flicker at 1/50th of a second, which is really important, because that's what I'll be shooting at. And then I also was just kind of seeing how dark it is, and I noticed that you can get a good exposure, sort of ISO 100, which is great, because that means, if it's too dark and you're having to bump up the ISO, that means I have to bring in some extra lighting. But the fact that on its own it's bright enough to shoot at 160 or 100 is great. It means that when I bring my lights in, they can just be to actually, to add detail rather than to actually light up the place. If it was really dark, then that would be a problem. Okay, so in terms of acting, I'm basically just going to be using my friends. I've got a group of friends who are very up for doing some acting, and basically they're going to make up the whole cast. And these are just friends from school who are the kind of most outgoing ones. And basically I think unless I can get some extra money or make some money from this project, they'll be working for free, just volunteering, and I'll just give them food and water while they're on set. And we'll try and keep the atmosphere as fun as possible, so they don't feel like they're working too hard. But in order to kind of organize everything with all those people, I created a event on Facebook. Since the majority of the crew and cast will be on Facebook, it seems like a logical way to do the contacting people and organizing stuff. So I created a group on Facebook, and I would basically just add in the people who were up for being part of the film. And on this I made a bunch of posts, one of them talking about asking a question of when people are available in some holidays, whether they're going away or not, so I can find out who's going to be available for which shoots, which was very helpful. And then I also did a post about the synopsis of the film, so that people who don't know can see the kind of general idea of what it's going to be about. And then also did a post about the kind of the crew and cast that we're looking for. So basically the roles of all the different characters. So we'd have the main speaking parts, the secondary speaking parts, the non-speaking parts, and then all the other jobs like sound or just a kind of general assistant. We'll probably have a kind of 3 or 4 person crew with up to 7 actors at any time, so everyone's going to be kind of swapping around their jobs and helping out, but it should work out pretty good. But yeah, using Facebook is a great way to notify people of any changes that happen, and kind of keep everyone in the loop, rather than sending out emails and trying to phone people who aren't responding to texts. You know, sometimes Facebook makes it easy to kind of group everything together and have everything in the same place, so it works very nicely. Now, since I'm writing all the music for this film, I've started to compose some stuff on the piano, and I've basically just been trying to find ideas which would work as the score, because the score is one of the things that you can actually do. You can start thinking about it before shooting, because I have an idea in my mind of the kind of tone and mood I want to set, and the music is very important to that. Basically, your music has to match up in terms of the emotion and the feel of it exactly to your film, or what you're trying to get across, or else it basically won't have the right effect. So that's something really important, and I've been basically just kind of jamming on the piano, looking for chords, trying to find melodies, and I've started to bring the stuff into Logic a little bit. I'm recording the MIDI and then assigning, the orchestral instruments and having a little play. So I've kind of got a couple of 8-bar loops which kind of represent roughly what I think it will sound like. So it's not all on the piano, but you basically just have to put the time in to start composing some stuff, and I felt like it would be good to do this beforehand. While I'm definitely not gonna, I'm still open for ideas during and after the shoot. I'm not gonna, get it all finished, but it's great to start having the ideas. I feel like it will help with the writing and the filming, because sometimes it actually works better to fit your film to the music rather than the music to the film. So yeah, that's pretty much it. For the last kind of couple months or so, I've just been making sure I've got the right kind of gear, deciding on props, and the majority of it's been doing the script. But I've got spreadsheets and Word documents about all the kind of information, and we're just kind of working to try and hit the deadline. And in terms of what's next, we're going to have, because the summer holidays start in a couple of weeks, and we're basically going to have a couple of days at the start where we're just going to be doing solid planning. This Saturday we're going to have a writing session, making sure we've got the script really solid, and make sure we've ordered all the props ready to start shooting in about, not exactly sure, but I think it's around in August, so a couple months. But yeah, I'm very excited, and I'll keep you guys posted on what's going on with Twitter, and I'll probably do at least 2 other videos. Yeah, definitely 2 other videos throughout the production. I'll do some behind the scenes, as well as some tutorials and demonstrations of color correction and the music and general editing and visual effects and stuff like that. So it's going to be pretty good.